been curling, pressing, and repping out arms for months, but they are still the same size. Maybe they've gotten a little bigger, but they are not where you want to be. The reason I know that is because you clicked on this video. Lucky for you, this is going to be the best video on YouTube on how to gain 2 to 3 inches on your arms in literally probably about 2 months. And the reason I can guarantee that is because I've done it myself. My arms were at one point one of the weakest points on my body. It seemed like it was harder and harder to grow them the longer I went to the gym, until I realized 3 main mistakes, crossed those out, and got 3 main secrets that I'm going to share with you today for free. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you want to get bigger arms, watch this video all the way through, hit subscribe. We're going to get into it right now. So the first mistake I see people making is ego lifting. Now, this is not what you think I'm about to say. This is actually going to be completely different. I don't see enough people ego lifting. Now, stay with me. When you use the mistake of not going all the way until you cannot get a full rep, you are not going hard enough. A lot of people will say somebody who doesn't do a full rep from top to bottom is ego lifting, when in reality, that's not what that means at all. You need to get to that point where you cannot complete a full rep. Otherwise, you are leaving all the muscle you were supposed to build on the table. And that's what I used to do. I would do sets of 8, perfect form the whole time. But until you have to cheat, you have to use that extra momentum to get that weight up, you are not making gains as good as you can. Let me show you. So when you're curling like this all the way up and down, that's when your body can still do it. It gets to a point where you have to use some momentum to get them up, and it makes it a little bit harder. That way you can make more gains by cheating. So now that you see an example of that, that is what you should be doing. Use that momentum to get those extra couple reps in, to get those gains back on the table, make your arms a little bit bigger. Second, people don't realize biceps actually have 2 separate heads. So we'll show you right here. This is going to be the short head of the bicep, and up here is going to be the long head of the bicep. These actually need to be trained differently, and when you train them separately in a way, your arms are actually going to get bigger. If you treat them as one muscle, you're leaving that exhaustion that you need to reach on the table, which is terrible if you actually want to get bigger. So what you need to do is find separate exercises for each head of the muscle. I would recommend something that comes out and up for this short head of your bicep. If you want something for the longer head, it needs to come in and up, just like this. Think about it this way. When you're doing your curls and you're looking down at your arms, if you can see the long head while you're curling, which I can see right now, that's what you're training. If you can see the short head, then that's what you're training. Train them separately, row them separately to get a little bit more size in there. That's going to add height, and that's going to add width. No matter what your genetics are, that is going to improve the overall size of your arms. The third biggest mistake, and this is the one that I see most frequently, is people don't train your arms enough. I understand it's not that big of a muscle when it comes to proportions on your body, but it needs almost the most frequency. People say shoulders need so much frequency. You should be treating your arms the same way. If you have 1 or 2 arm days per week, even 3, you're probably not doing it enough. You need to have 5 or 6 days out of the week that you're training something on your arms. So for example, if you do push-pull legs, 2 push days a week, 2 pull days a week, 2 leg days a week, the only 2 days you should not be training arms are the only day you should not be training arms is one of the leg days. Let me explain. Biceps on pull, triceps on push, repeat, that's 4 arm days in 1 week, and then one of your leg days, mix forearms in there. That's 5 to even 6 days a week that you're training arms. That is the way that you actually grow them, by having that extra frequency in there. And a little bonus tip, make sure not to train biceps and triceps on the same day. Separate that, because the way they work is completely separate. That's why they call it push-pull legs. Your biceps are more for a pulling motion, and your triceps are better at pushing. So work them on separate days so they get adequate rest, so they can build even better, and you could train more frequently. So now that we got the 3 mistakes out of the way, now we can get into the 3 things you can do to actually fix these mistakes. The number one thing you need to make sure you're doing is training your triceps and your biceps. Now, a lot of people, when they first get into the gym, they want that big arm look in their sleeve. They just do curls. You don't realize that your tricep is actually 2/3 of your arm and your bicep is only 1/3. So what that means is you literally need to do your triceps more than you do your biceps, which is what almost nobody does. So a loose program that you can follow is biceps twice a week with 2 different curl variations like we talked about, and then triceps twice a week. My favorite workout for triceps are push downs on a cable machine. Those are great for working your entire triceps. My second favorite is push-ups. Push-ups, why? Because you could do them anywhere. You could do them at home, you don't need a gym, and you can absolutely exhaust yourself doing push-ups. Do not overlook those. And I guarantee if you start to do them more, do different variations, your triceps are gonna get bigger along with your biceps. I got 2 more tips for you before we get into these 2. These are gonna be the secret tips. And if I've given you enough value so far, please hit subscribe. If you want more, if you want a more direct training, leave your name in the comments. I will get you a free ebook on how to grow your entire body, not just your arms. So if you want even more value, leave your name, hit subscribe, and I'll send that over to you really quick. Next, now we are getting into the secret category. Like I said, the first secret that took me years to figure out was the exact reps, sets, and exercises you need to be doing. Now, stay with me because this is almost a one-size-fits-all. Anybody watching this video could use this as a blueprint to make themselves have more progression. First of all, you need to lower your reps while doing arms. A lot of people do 15, 20 reps, 12 reps, 10 reps. That is too much. You need to start out at a weight where you can only do about 5 reps, maybe 1 or 2 with that momentum I was telling you about. So if you could do 35s for 12 reps, try to do 50s for 5 reps. Make that adjustment in your program. Write that down somewhere. Write it on your notes app, something. And I guarantee you that is more successful for actually gaining muscle. The second part of this is that you need to mix in compound lifts with isolation lifts. Now, what does that mean? Isolation lifts are literally targeting one muscle group on your body, while compound lifts, they target multiple. For example, curls, isolation, push-ups, compound. Because push-ups, you get chest, shoulders, and triceps in there. So instead of just doing tricep push-downs on tricep day, do tricep push-downs mixed with push-ups or dips. And on bicep day, instead of just doing curls, do curls mixed with chin-ups. This way, you can completely exhaust every little tiny muscle that's in your arms and get a full workout on arm day. I guarantee you, if you're not mixing this properly right now, you're leaving a lot of size on the table. And the third and final factor that's going to absolutely transform your arm, and keep this information safe because this is very valuable and this is the one that you need to know. So if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. You are getting more value than anybody else. And that is going to be to eat the right foods. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not just saying get your protein in. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying eat the correct foods to stimulate muscle growth. So what you can do is actually eat foods that stimulate better blood flow. So when you're working out, you get a better pump and exhaust your muscle even more. Think of it as a supercharger on a car. So the number one thing that you could do to increase that blood flow is eat things like beets or anything that increases nitric oxide in your body. So beets, cayenne pepper, carrots, ginger, anything like that. Any way you can get it, mix it in a smoothie, eat it raw. Any way you can do this is going to improve your workouts and improve your size. Now pair that with a high protein whole food diet. If you're eating steaks every day, ginger, cayenne pepper, opening up your blood flow and then supplying that blood with protein and enough nutrients to make yourself bigger, you are going to be the most in shape person around you because nobody's going that extra mile. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I just gave you every single thing you could do to get the biggest arms out of anybody you know. So if you think I deserve it, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know any questions or thoughts. I appreciate you watching the entire video. You got the most value if you did. Hit subscribe, and it's time for you to get the hell out of here and get to work.